IRPIN and BUCHA. The two towns bear the scars of the Russia-Ukraine war. My visit to these two towns near Kyiv made me speechless. This is a mass grave with 116 bodies, including that of women and children.
4 years old child.
4 years child.
This and this.
Yeah. Listening to the war crimes, watching the devastated buildings and this bridge made me a little bit uncomfortable. This is such a dark place, to be honest. People were just executed like that. Bodies left to decompose for more than a month. As an Indian, I have never been very critical of the actions of Russia. Just like many other Indians, I have considered Russia as a time-tested friend.
Russia was, is, and will remain India's strong friend and ally.
Well, after undertaking this dark tour and watching the destructions, devastations, and listening to the war crimes committed by Russians, I have changed my mind. He is Vitaly, my guide, and he is going to show me around IRPIN and BUCHA.
Welcome to Ukraine.
Yeah, thank you.
The first time in Ukraine?
First time in Ukraine, yes.
Have you seen something?
Yeah, I have been to Chernivtsi, Lviv, Lutsk, Kyiv now. Just 3 months before my trip to Ukraine, Russia had fired a rocket at a children's hospital in Kyiv. Yesterday I came to this children's hospital in Kyiv, which was damaged in July of 2024. But I could not enter inside because probably the guard saw me with a camera. I think you would have seen this in the previous video. But today, Vitaly is trying to show me that damaged building, the children's hospital, where 5 people were died and more than 10 people got injured.
So this is the kid was directly here.
Yeah.
That the transformer suffered.
Yeah.
Part of the transformer destroyed.
Yeah.
Look at the car.
Wow. It was such a big missile because the impact was on many places around.
It's a really big missile. I would say that it's bigger than this car.
Wow. This is
And
crazy.
if they hit the main building, I would say that it would be many hundreds of children would be killed. But
So this is the main building of the where children stay. But still 5 people died. Like this was like what building?
This
This
is
is
surgery.
surgery building. So this is the horror of the war that you see here. This is a children's hospital. Like even children haven't been spared in this war. So this was a surgery ward. Okay, this was a surgery ward. There is nothing around, no government building, nothing. This was done just to terrify people and break the spirit of the people. IRPIN town is just 25 kilometers from the Kyiv city center. The Russian forces had almost captured the Kyiv city had it not been for this breeze. So this bridge was destroyed by Ukrainian forces.
Ukrainian troops,
Yeah.
They blew it up just
Blew-
to stop the
Russians from that side.
Yeah.
And this road,
It was built just in 2022. It was temporary road.
so this bridge is memorial. This is a new bridge that was built 6 months ago. And this
3
was,
years ago. Temporary bridge that was built 3 years ago.
so this road was there during the war or not?
No.
Okay.
It was only this bridge.
Okay.
They destroyed this bridge.
Okay.
It was April. We cleared from Russians. We built the temporary bridge. This
Okay.
one.
It is this destruction of the bridge that prevented the Russian troops from going ahead all the way to the Kyiv city. If this bridge was not destroyed, probably there would have been some occupation in the Kyiv city. So this was a strategic move from the Ukrainian army, a very strategic move. So this is going to be a war memorial for the future. And there, just as you enter, there is a signboards about information, and it says the date 25 February 2022. As I looked at the surroundings of the destroyed Romanov bridge, I found this church. It was this church which was captured in a footage that showed a Russian mortar killing civilians, including a child. This shop belonged to the church and it was totally destroyed. It's totally destroyed, you can see. And also the fronts of the church is also destroyed. Wow. Yeah.
Part of IRPIN was occupied by Russians, part not. It was a gray zone.
Okay.
And behind there is a BUCHA.
Landmine.
It's like from the mortars.
Mortars, okay.
Yeah, the mines from the mortars. It's about 1.122 or 82 millimeters the caliber.
Yeah, so these are all the sellings, you know.
All this is because of these mortars, because of these mines.
Wow.
Look at this.
So all the walls are the entry points, they're all destroyed.
As we drove on the newly constructed bridge over the IRPIN river, I was impressed by the natural beauty and greenery of the IRPIN town. Before the war, a lot of digital nomads used to live in IRPIN and BUCHA towns.
So these are the piles of all the burnt cars in the war. They have been stored here as a memorial. I am getting goosebumps just by watching all these things.
A lot of prominent leaders have visited the IRPIN town in the last 2 years. Recently, the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has even visited IRPIN and he clicked a photograph in this exact place.
The sunflowers, the sign of Ukraine. All around Ukraine you can find sunflowers, fields and wheat fields.
Yeah.
It's like a sign of new life.
I remember that when the Ukraine-Russia war started, the prices of sunflower oil actually went up because Ukraine is a major exporter of sunflower oil. They have painted these burnt cars with sunflower, symbol of Ukraine. Oh, the toy. There's a children's toy in it that got burnt. It's insane. I mean, to be honest, when I am looking at all these things, I'm speechless actually. I don't know what to say.
It's Ukrainian name, Tavria.
Tauria.
Ukrainian car, yeah.
What's the name?
Tavria. The only Ukrainian car that we produce.
Okay.
That we used to produce, not even now.
Okay. The war is more tragic than actually I thought, and the things that we see on the TV, probably we just feel sad for a moment and then we just close the TV, but the reality is actually much more harsher.
Their biggest mistake was just to take different parts of Ukraine by small troops. Because they took on the eastern part, if they started their attack from eastern part, I think that they would take part of Ukraine.
Okay.
Half of Ukraine could be under their control, but they just spread the troops around Ukraine, and it was the biggest mistake.
Vitaly's cousin and some family members have been fighting for Ukraine in this war.
Troops from 72nd Brigade, where my cousin was, defended Kyiv.
There is a lot of markets that have been rebuilt, the houses have been rebuilt. Life has started to return to normalcy slowly.
A Soviet clubhouse in IRPIN was destroyed due to heavy artillery shelling.
So this is basically a Soviet era clubhouse that was destroyed in the war. So this clubhouse apparently was used to spread the Soviet propaganda, but anyways, you can see on the outside they have painted with sunflower. They have done some nice paintings, the graffitis.
Trains, the birds also symbolize Ukraine.
A lot of these trains, you know, when it is winter, they come to India.
It's a very long flight, yeah, and no visa. And you see the child, he has a kite. Here's like a crack.
Yeah. Oh, like the crack is used as a thread.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's painted by an Italian artist. So this is called the Kiss of Death. So the Kiss of Death by two painters. They have written their name. Broken doors, broken windows. Can we go in? Carefully. Okay. Here we go. So this is a concert hall.
Yeah.
It's totally damaged. Destroyed. Building parts, debris concrete debris everywhere. So they thought they will capture it in 3 days, and after that they just started to hit random civilians, random structures, just like that, without any thoughts. So this is the building, the clubhouse, where we are destroyed by the artillery cells. Honestly speaking, like, a lot of these fires were so random.
As I walked along many damaged buildings, I could see that people haven't abandoned their homes completely. This showed the resilience of the Ukrainian people during the war.
So people are living in this part, and this part, it's fully damaged. No one is living. So the people whose house got burned down or things, they lost the property, did the government compensate?
They started to compensate, but as you understand, it's so many of them. That's why they put some information document to special system in your app. You should wait, and you should wait for reparation from Russia. Some of the people were given money, like a certificate, you can buy a new house or apartment. But of course, there are many people who didn't have yet. It will take time.
All around the Irpin town, I found works of art and graffiti on damaged walls. However, there were a few particular ones which were quite impressive.
This is a mines from the mortars.
Yeah.
This one's it's 82 millimeters or 80 millimeters.
And it has masses, like no iron is enough. So clearly showing that the willpower of the people of Ukraine is stronger than iron. So this is the artwork by a famous street artist, Banksy. So Banksy is not his real name. So he is a street artist from London, and he has done so many famous politically inspired paintings and street arts all around the world. So he came to IRPIN and BUCHA, and he painted this thing on a building, but that building was in a very bad state. So the government decided to tear down that building, but they kept that wall of that building, one wall where the painting was there, and they shifted it to one place here. So this is a big hole from a mortar firing or a rocket hit. This is a gymnast trying to balance on a globe.
Her neck is broken, you see? She has like...
Broken neck.
Yeah.
So this is a building that has been renovated by a Japanese company. So you can see the name of the company is Property Business Network Association, and just to symbolize the friendship between Japan and Ukraine, they have portrayed a Ukrainian girl in Vyzhyvanka and a Japanese girl in kimono.
But he has the same faces, like very Slavic faces, with very wide eyes.
So the right girl, she doesn't look Japanese. Okay.
This was not the only building that was reconstructed by Japan. In fact, Japan has pledged more than 4 billion euros for the reconstruction of Ukraine. When I traveled across Ukraine, I saw many places where there were graffiti about free AZOV.
What is actually AZOV?
So it's one of the best brigades in Ukraine. They appeared in Mariupol in the south part of Ukraine. And Azov, this is the name of the sea, and this is the name of the brigade, battalion. And they are very pro-Ukrainian. And during the war 2014, they were very severe fighters, and Putin hates them. And they are very nationalistic. And they killed so many Russians in Mariupol. They were enclosed, and now they're in Russian captivity. And Putin doesn't want to give them back to Ukraine.
Okay.
And now it's about thousands Azov fighters are in Russia, in prison. Many of them, they were killed and tortured.
So that's why in many places where you go, you will see that in the graffiti, free AZOV.
Irpin was the town that was devastated mainly through artillery fires, but it was Bucha town where Russia committed some horrific war crimes. Some of the Russian war crimes were even captured on camera.
So this is 144 Yabulanska Street, which was used as a military base of Russia. So there was like a temporary military base for almost a month.
But civilians were tortured inside the basement. And many people were just killed behind the building. I will show you the place.
This is the darkest building of all the buildings in IRPIN and BUCHA. People were just executed like that. Bodies left to decompose for more than a month. This is the war crime committed by Russia, and the people who died, all the 8 people, were normal civilians. They were marched at gunpoint to this building, tortured there, and then taken to this side and killed.
When Indians think of Russia, we are always thankful to the Russians for the veto against the West in 1971. Russia stood up for India in the United Nations Security Council when the Western imperialistic states bullied India. However, in the process of oversimplification, we often forget that in 1971 it was not Russia who had the veto power, but it was Soviet Union. Every time Soviet Union stood up for India in the United Nations or in the Indian Ocean, it was actually both Ukraine and Russia who stood up for India, because Soviet Union included both Ukraine and Russia. Russia was not India's ally or friend until the death of Stalin in 1953. Even the Russian Empire once upon a time wanted to conquer India in the 19th century. Stalin despised Nehru and Gandhi. Only after Stalin's death in 1953, Soviet Union started to get closer to India. In an ever-changing geopolitical world, no country is permanently a friend or an enemy. Just like many marriages are based on convenience, most geopolitical relations are based on give and take relationship, otherwise merely a marriage of convenience. After visiting Bucha, I had a realization that India and Russia cannot be friends. It's just a marriage of convenience, just like many other geopolitical relations. For an example, the Ukraine-US relationship is nothing more than a marriage of convenience. India and Russia have a huge difference in their belief system. For an example, India is fundamentally a democratic country, but Russia is technically a dictatorship. Unlike Russia, India doesn't have imperialistic ambitions. India has one of the most powerful armies in the world. However, India has never attacked any sovereign country first. You know, when there was India-Pakistan war, when Indian army killed the people of Pakistan, like the Pakistani soldiers, they were buried with dignity, or they were returned to their forces. But these are normal civilians, and I'm just wondering how. I mean, they have no respect for the people.
Absolutely. The family is very important to have the body back.
Is the 144 Yabulanska street building now being used for any purpose? Or?
Yeah. So the Soviet time, it was like a kind of the factory or plant.
Yeah.
And now the rooms are given for rent for some small companies.
So they have been being reused again.
Of course. It was cleaned and again it's in use.
I'm now entering to a church premise. It's a St. Andrew Church, and it's a place which has a very sad tone to this. This is a mass grave with 116 bodies, including that of women and children. When I was watching the videos from IRPIN and BUCHA, I know it was dark, but when you visit it in person, you will feel that it's much more darker than that. Around 1,000 people died in IRPIN and BUCHA saw most of the casualties. Bucha was the town that was captured by the Russians, and it was under the Russian occupation for almost a month, more than a month maybe. But the scars, even today, are visible, and I don't think they will heal anytime soon.
4 years old child.
4 years child.
Those and this.
Yeah. There was some 17 bodies where they were not able to recognize who the people are.
Yeah.
These are the list of people whose body have not been found yet. This is an Orthodox cross. These are all soldiers.
I mean, all fighters. I think that you heard about Ghost of Kyiv, the famous pilots. It was a group of pilots. At the beginning of the war, they downed many Russian planes. There is one of them. He's here, the Ghost of Kyiv. Ghost of Kyiv. And also
This guy, a 60-year-old guy.
Yeah.
So,
61.
wow, at the time
He was killed.
so heroic way to die. This place is a place where there is a mass grave of the soldiers who died protecting their country. All the people here who died, they died in this IRPIN BUCHA Battle of Kyiv war. So Battle of Kyiv was a first victory for Ukraine in defending themselves against the Russia. They successfully captured back the territories. So this is the last stop of this entire tour. I'm going to see some destroyed Russian tanks and APCs.
As I understand, nobody survived inside.
It's fully burnt. These tanks are fully burnt, damaged. Russians have also suffered severe casualties as well. Ever since the war started, Russians have lost more than 300,000 of their soldiers. These tanks are from the Battle of Kyiv 2022, mainly from the IRPIN and BUCHA area. So this is Vitaly, my tour guide. He has his family members who fought this Battle of Kyiv.
It was my cousin. He's now in Russian prison. He's a prisoner of war, and I hope that he would come soon. His name is Igor. Yeah, and thank you for your visit. That you visited Ukraine in such a difficult time. It's a pity, but we have this. We had this massacre in Bucha and IRPIN, and we have to tell the story everybody, not to happen again.
Thank you very much. I hope you liked this video, and if you like this video, then please like and subscribe to my channel.
The war in Ukraine reminded me that the world is still not free from imperialism even in the 21st century. After traveling to so many countries, I have realized that geopolitical relations are not black and white, but rather grey. I see the war in Ukraine partly as a consequence of the diplomatic failure of corrupt Ukrainian leaders and the imperialistic ambition of Russia. This war has ended up benefiting the arms companies in the US like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and the ultimate owner of the world, BlackRock. As I left Bucha with a heavy heart, all I wished for the people is peace.